Welcome. So Alex is actually a serial entrepreneur and founder of 7 New York-based startups, and raising more than $1 billion and exiting at more than $3 billion. So he's also one of the inventors of VoIP and currently working on MIP technology, and he has authored numerous patents. So very warm welcome to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks, guys. So, hello, Berlin. I was just, I'm on the world tour, I guess. Just came from Amsterdam, before that London, before that Bermuda, and before that I was actually a few days with my family in New York. But I wanted to share with you our thinking, our experience. We completed an ICO about 2 months ago. Actually, yesterday I think it was 60 days from our ICO. Raised 50 million, 50. It's was said here before, I did 7 startups as a founder, raising money from VCs. So I have very good comparison, the VC world versus the ICO world, and I can tell you I've never worked harder in my life. Doing an ICO is harder than any of the companies I had to do before that. So anyone here is thinking about an ICO? Wow, usually half of the room raises their hands, but I guess right now it's getting harder and harder. So, I'll walk through my slides, but I'm definitely going to leave some time for Q&A. I want to make sure that you guys get a chance to ask the questions you want to hear. And let me start by telling you the story of Voice over IP. Anyone here knows what Voice over IP is? Hello? The coffee wasn't good? No one? Everybody's tired? Voice over IP. Anyone used it today? Everyone. Did you make a phone call? Did you look at a video? Did you do anything on your computer? That's Voice over IP, right? If you're listening to voice, it got digitized, transmitted, and played back on some device, right? So back in the 90s, in the early 90s, and I'm that old, my first startup, it sounded crazy that you can take voice and put it on the internet, because to use the internet, you had to use a modem, dial into the internet over the public switch telephone network, connect to some server, wait 5 minutes until the screen actually loaded, because the modems were like 9.6 kilobits per second. Okay, now we're talking about megabits. And to do a voice conversation, even compressed, was 16K, at least, minimum of 16K. So the connection was slower than the technology you needed just to make one communication. So everybody told me I was crazy. It will never happen. 1994, this is before Netscape, before Google, before Amazon, before all those things. And the funny thing is that the same thing is happening now. All the naysayers, hundreds of millions of people all over the world, they go all over the world, people go like, oh, this blockchain thing, it's slow. Oh, this crypto thing, oh, that's just a scam, right? Again and again. Did anyone here see the video of me and Nouriel Roubini fighting it out at the Milken conference? No one? Google it, okay? That's a mandatory watching. If you're in the crypto world, you gotta watch that video, because that's what we're facing. We're facing hundreds of millions of people who are saying it's a scam, it's bullshit, right? He called me bullshit on stage, right? So the community, us, all of us, have to prove all these people wrong. Every one of you who's working on a project is here to prove all those people wrong. And Voice over IP proved everybody wrong. Today, over 1 billion people use Voice over IP every day. Okay? How much did you have to pay for Voice over IP? Anyone here paid, wrote a check, or used a credit card to pay for Voice over IP? Anyone? Right? It's free. So VoIP is now being replaced or being added by MOIP. MOIP is money over IP. And all this wave of innovation we're talking about, right? This decentralization, wave of decentralization, is all about moving money to run over IP. Now, you can tell me, oh, money is digital, No, money may be digital, but it's still moving inside your bank, right? When you charge your credit card, the money doesn't move from the card to the merchant, right? The only thing that's happened inside the big vault of the bank says, oh, you know, Joe has $30 less, and the merchant now has $30 more. That's all that's happening. That's not digital commerce. That's not a digital currencies moving across borders or anything like that. So let's talk a little bit about digital assets. Everybody knows cryptocurrencies, right? But now we have this new world of utility tokens and security tokens. So we have all these new animals coming to be, right, which are not securities and not utilities, right? They're like when you use a subway and you use a token or you use a card, that's called a utility token. It can only be used in the subway, right? You try to use it in the store to buy milk, and the guy says, sorry, I don't accept subway tokens, right? So that's what the definition of the stuff that we're trying to create. We're trying to create economies that are running in a very unique environment, and they're only good for one thing. And inside that economy, the users of that economy, for example, the people who use a subway, or the people that use a voice over IP network, can exchange transactions with each other, either for free or through a mechanism called a token or a coin. So, 700 years of centralization. Who here is a historian? Any historians in the room? No one? Anyone studied history? How old is the oldest bank? What's the name of the first bank in the world? Banco de Paci, yes, in Italy. Very good. We have an Italian here, so he knows his pasta. So 700 years of centralization. So we started with something very, very simple. We started with barter a few thousand years ago, right? You came with a chicken, you wanted some milk, you negotiated, and you got the milk, and the other person got the chicken. Then we said, you know what, let's create a coin that's made out of gold or silver and replace all of these things through a medium of exchange, a physical asset that had the weight, just the right weight to represent $1 or whatever the value was in gold or silver. Then Banco de Paci was the first one to create this idea that if we accept coins, gold coins, and we give people a piece of paper and we'll just write, the bank manager actually wrote on the piece of paper 2 gold coins and signed it. And anyone who was holding that piece of paper can come back to the bank. This is the first bank in Siena, Italy, and give that piece of paper, and he could withdraw the coins, the gold coins. And then people said, wait a second, I don't have to go to the bank, I can just give it to you. 2 coins, a piece of paper with 2 coins from this bank is just as good as going to the bank. And that's how paper money was born. And then every government in the world said, great, you know, we're just going to print this paper, you know. And all of us said, of course, but there is gold behind it. There must be gold in that safe. Anyone here went to the bank recently to check if they had gold over there? Let me tell you a secret. There's nothing there. Do you know what's behind a $100 bill, a dollar bill? Trust. How about $22 trillion of debt? Behind a $100 note, there's about $170 worth of debt that has to be paid. Promise, IOUs, that the United States has issued to all the people around the world. All the people here, all of you have IOUs, because guess who buys those IOUs? Your retirement plan, your bank, your insurance company, they all have that. So we went from a world where everything was backed by gold or silver to a world where the piece of paper is basically useless. And now we're replacing it with digital currencies, right? So the bank now says, look, you have a credit card. Don't worry about it. It's all covered. So we went through 700 years of reflationary cycle. 2008 was the last time we had to reflate the entire world economy. Anyone here has an idea how many dollars were printed during that reflationary cycle? The ECB did about 30 trillion, and the United States did about 20 trillion, with a T, not with a B, with a T. Right? Did anyone here notice that? Did anyone here notice that there were like money basically flying on the street? They were throwing money off helicopters. You didn't notice because most of that money went to the very rich. It went to the banks, it went to the large companies, it went to the people who really don't need that money. Right? But the point was to create a reflationary cycle to get us out of the economic disaster that we were in. So, what I'm arguing here is that now we have this tsunami, we have a giant wave of decentralization, and most of us are part of it. If you're in the blockchain business, or if you're in the crypto business, or if you're in the technology business, you don't even know it, but you're a foot soldier. You're just here representing decentralization. And decentralization saying, we cannot let all these guys on the right side, you know, your left side, continue growing bigger and bigger and bigger and extract all the profits. The companies at the top, the people who run the pyramid, if it's a bank or if it's Google or if it's Facebook, extract all the value. We give them everything for free, they extract all the value. And everybody who works, every one of us wakes up in the morning, goes to work for someone for one reason, to generate profit. Everything on this triangle is about generating profit for the person you work for, who has to generate profit for the person he works for, and so on, so on, so on. And you go up like 100 steps, and all the way at the top is the guy who collects it all. And that's the world we live in. All of us wake up in the morning with that purpose. The decentralization world works completely differently. Everybody who works on the blockchain, on the crypto world, doesn't have to work for anyone. Their job is to create value inside the community, right? How much in revenues does Google generate? Anyone? Throw a number. Tens of billions of dollars, right? In revenues and billions of dollars in profits every quarter. How much revenue does Bitcoin generate? How much revenue Bitcoin generates? No one asked you that question before? How much revenues does Ethereum generate? 0. How much revenues does WhatsApp generate? 0, right? So the new communities, the new economies are based on, not on profit generation, not on revenue generation, not on discounted cash flows or anything you've heard traditionally from companies here. That's how we measure them here. But it's based on the size of the community. WhatsApp was sold for $22 billion because it had a community of 1 billion users. So Ethereum has a community. How many people does Ethereum have? Active users, more or less. Any ideas? How many? Between 16 and 20 million people. Depends how if you're counting double wallets and users and so on. So the Ethereum community, which generates no revenues, right? It has 0 in revenues, 0 in profits. It's a non-profit. It's a Zug Switzerland-based non-profit by definition. But the people who hold the Ether, the ETH, can basically buy a coin because they believe that the community is doing well, and people that don't believe it sell the coin. So every day you have an external barometer that measures the value of this community, of the Ethereum community, of the Litecoin community, of the Bitcoin community. And if the price is going up, that means the community is doing well and everybody's confident. If the price is going down, right now prices are only going down because all the tourists who came from fiat land to crypto land realize it's not so easy to make money here. So they're all getting on the plane, going back to fiat land, they're saying thank you very much. So there's more sellers than buyers, the price is going down. We all love fishies, right? So you've heard the expression, the software is eating the world, right? Anyone here heard it? If you didn't, go read it. It's Andreessen Horowitz came up with the idea that software is going to revolutionize the world. It's probably a 10-year-old idea. And it's going to eat up all of these triangles. All these profit generation triangles are being eaten by software companies who are saying, I can do it cheaper, faster, and better. But now there's a second wave coming in. Open source companies. Anyone here knows, anyone used open source today? Anyone? Did you open a browser? That's 95% open source. Apache, which runs basically 95% of all the servers on the internet, 95% of all the servers on the internet is open source. No one pays for it. No one extracts any payments. No one charges anything. So open source is now eating software, which is eating all the companies. And now I'm telling you there's a wave that is 10 times bigger than the open source wave. Okay? Decentralization is a giant wave. 50 years from now, they're going to be writing in history books how everybody thought it was about crypto and blockchain, and they missed the whole thing. It was all about decentralization. The decentralization wave is even bigger than all those things put together because it takes advantage of open source, and it takes advantage of digital money, and it takes advantage of the internet being used by 6 billion people around the planet. I know it's a lot of controversial things, but that's why I came here. I came here to make you think, to make you look at things a little bit differently and make decisions for yourself, and hopefully, again, take your business or your idea in the right direction. So there are 3 areas. If you're looking at ideas in this giant revolution and you think, okay, how am I going to do this? What is my opportunity? How can I join this party? Obviously, something big is going to happen here. I have no clue what it is, but I want to be part of the party, right? Anyone is in that mode, right? You can admit it. I'm there. I'm here for the party, right? So we talked about decentralization. That is a huge wave by itself, right? But then you have also the technology. The technology is amazing technology. Okay, I've been in technology for 30 years. I built 7 technology companies, including one global standard that, like I said, 6 billion people have it on their phone. 1 billion of them use it every day. Very few people can stand here and tell you that they built an organization that runs 1 billion people every day. So I'm telling you that the blockchain, powered by open ledger, by consensus, is something revolutionary. It's not evolutionary. It's just not just a little increase, or a little bit better, a little bit faster. It's a revolution. You're in the middle of a revolution, and those don't come every day. I'm arguing that that's even bigger than the internet itself. So when you combine the wave of decentralization, which is more of like a political wave, right? Just saying enough is enough, power to the people, we're going to break all the pyramids, right? And I'm not talking about the pyramids in Egypt, right? Then you have the blockchain, and then you have the third circle, which is token economics. And token economics, we started talking about that a little bit, right? Ether has it doesn't have to generate any revenue. It has an external barometer that measures the value of the Ether platform. And that's why it can compete against anyone, because every other company who's on the triangle side has to generate profit. It has to charge more. It has to extract value out of its own community, where the Ether or the Bitcoin does not, by definition. So if one has to charge and one doesn't, who is going to win out? So there's only one company that can win against Ether or Bitcoin. Anyone knows who it is? Any suggestions? More coffee, please. Uber. Uber loses money on every transaction, and then they make it up in volume and lose even more money when they pull it all together, and they realize, oh, every year we're losing $2 or $3 billion. Even crypto cannot compete with that. So I put it all together for you for a very simple formula so you can remember, right? Any physicists in the room? We didn't have any historians, but how about some physicists? Come on, I know there's a lot of Russians here and Germans, so there's got to be like guys with PhD in physics. Can you come and help me explain this? No? You're a physics guy? No. And no one wants to help. All right, I'm going to have to do it all by myself. E. E stands for what? My God, you're in the wrong conference. E for energy. Any other ideas? E? Energy. You just woke up, right? E stands for Ethereum. Okay, so now I gave you a clue. So M, what does M stand for? Mass. Oh my, you definitely. There's a physics conference over there, you know? M, oh, somebody said money. No, not money either. What else? What do we need? You just saw 6 of my slides. What I keep talking about. So what do you need to make Ethereum very valuable? What measures the value of Ethereum? The size of the community. So, wait, but it starts with an M, so it can't be a community, right? So, huh? Members, finally somebody, here we go. Number of members, right? So, if you want your coin or your token to be very valuable, you need a lot of members to do what? To go to the movies? No. What else? Any other ideas? Contributions, yeah, that's a good word. Consensus, community, right? So we believe that credit is what makes the world go round. Most of us think it's money, right? The song is really good, but does anyone here can just go and get money? You can't get money. You can get credit. You can get a loan. They'll charge you 20, 25% of your credit card, but you can get it. Most of the people in the room here can't. But in that pyramid that I showed you, 2/3 of the people on the planet cannot get access to credit. So if we want this community to be billions of people, we need to issue them credit. Community credit. So I don't believe that crypto or the blockchain needs another blockchain. We already have 130 different blockchains. We don't need one that's faster or more green or more yellow or that can do magic and run on 5 different networks at the same time. That's not going to do anything. If we don't bring 100 million people or 1 billion people into crypto, this revolution is just going to die off. This tsunami that's coming is just going to become a little wave and crash on the beach and be like, ah, this is that tsunami that we're talking about, this decentralization thing. Look at it, you know? So unless it gains power and many, many more people join in, it's not going to happen. And Celsius, the company I founded, is focused just on that. That's our entire focus. Every day our team is asking ourselves, how do we bring more people into crypto? How do we make them stay? How do we make sure that they're not just the anarchists, the libertarians, or the tourists, speculators that came to be here? How do we bring people who actually need something? Well, let's give them cheap loans,
if I'm going to say,
right? Let's pay a lot of interest. Who here makes more than 2% depositing money with the bank? Okay. Not a single hand. How about 1%? Who here makes 1%? In Europe, it's hard to make 1%. So you give your money to the bank, they give you 1%, they take your money, they turn around, it's your money, it's not their money, it's your money. They take it, they turn around, they say, what's your name? Pietro, 25%. No problem, right? Here's a credit card. And you think you're going to pay the bill by the end of the month. You're not going to pay the interest, but all of us pay interest. In America, $1.3 trillion is extended as credit on a credit card. 1.3 trillion, that's half of all the credit on the planet is given just in the United States to people who are maxed out on every credit card, paying between 20 to 25% interest. They pay the rent and then they pay the interest on their credit card. So it's a very, very profitable business. Who makes all that money? The banks. Who allows the banks to do this? Who gives the banks all the power? All of we do, exactly. We deposit, we give them all of our money. If we took all the money and put it into crypto and went to Pietro and said, 9%, Pietro, and we're going to take your 9% and give all these people that gave us the money 5% back. So they can earn 5% and you will only pay 9%. Anyone game for that? Anyone wants to do that? And we're going to take all the power away from the banks. Huh? You earn 5%, he pays 9%. Any problem with that? Anyone here thinks it's a bad idea? Good. And the banks lose at the same time. Is that a good plan or what? And we're using the blockchain. And we're using crypto. and we're helping decentralization. Something must be wrong, right? Where's the downside? So, does anyone know what that number on top is? This one that starts with 0x. Ethereum address, very good. Any other ideas? Wallet address, that's actually my wallet. Anyone here who thinks I did a good job explaining things, please send money over there. No, just kidding. But I can put my address and not worry about it. I can put my address there and not worry that any of you are going to steal my money. Does anyone feel comfortable doing it with your checkbook, with your bank account? No, you wouldn't do that? Why not? It's a public address. So we trust banks, thinking that the banks are so safe and so this. Do you know how many times banks get hacked every day? You don't hear about it? Every day, hundreds of times, banks get hacked. Hundreds of times. They just don't want you to know it. They always replenish the money. And the FDIC, the central bank, says, don't worry. Your money is safe. It will always be there. Why? Because they can print it. If any of it is missing, they just go to the printing machine. They print it and put it back in and say, yes, some Russians stole $1 billion, but your money is right here. Look. So this system has a limited supply. No one can steal anything, and yet everybody can see what everybody has. If all of us created our own blockchain, and all of us put the coins, and some of us are rich. Pietro is rich. I know he just took a big loan in fiat and bought, what did you buy, Bitcoin or Ether? Both, 50-50. So now we can create a platform in which all of us can see who has what. That is the blockchain. That's the magic of the blockchain. What is that number on the bottom? It has a name. Anyone? E equals MC squared. No, that's just joking. It's almost a Google. Do you know that Google is a number? It's a 1 followed by 100 zeros. It's not just a company. So that is the number. The number on the bottom is how many attempts you have to go to figure out what's the private key for the number on top. Because every one of those digits, the 8 could be any one of 36 digits or letters. The 3 could be any one of 36 digits or letters. So when you put all those combinations together, this is how many permutations you need to go through to figure out what's the private key. Basically, there's not enough computing power in the entire world. If we took all the computers in the world and made them try to crack this, they will not be able to do that. It would take them like thousands of years to get there. All right? That's how safe this is. So, believe me, the biggest hackers, think of Bitcoin as the biggest prize for any hacker. Because if you can crack Bitcoin, it's now close to $100 billion, you could steal $100 billion, like this, and no one can catch you. Because you can go to every account and take all of the money, you can figure out who has what. So the bounty, and I used to be a hacker, a black hat, then a white hat. Believe me, that's a very attractive proposition. Much better than standing at conferences and talking about crypto. So if you can crack this code, every hacker in the world has tried for 10 years. Did anyone hear about a hack of the Bitcoin blockchain? Anyone? That has nothing to do with the Bitcoin contract. Anyone hacked the Ethereum blockchain or the Litecoin blockchain, right? It hasn't happened yet. And the prize is bigger than almost anything. So if you think the bank is safe, I'm here to tell you this is much safer. We had 3 waves of innovation. The first wave was, infrastructure, right? Everybody's excited about it. The next blockchain, the next blockchain. If you think you're going to make money buying the next blockchain, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I don't think you're going to make any money on the blockchain. It's the same as if I came to you here and I was pitching you on a new router that's going to run the internet backbone faster. I can process TCP/IP 50% faster. Anyone interested in investing in my company? It's 50% faster. That's what we're talking about, right? So we have 130 blockchains, and everybody's coming and saying, mine is faster. Mine can jump higher. We don't need that, okay? All of those 130 are going to dwindle down to maybe 5 winning blockchains. Because you need scale, and without scale, you can't win. Then we had middleware companies who came and said, oh, you know, we're going to fix this part of it, we're going to fix that part of it, we're going to make the smart contract safer, we're going to audit it, we're going to this, we're going to that. Great. We need those utilities. And now we are in the dApp world. dApps, distributed applications. Anyone knows a distributed application on the internet? Google, Facebook, Twitter, right? All of the things you use every day. YouTube, they're all distributed applications running on the internet backbone. So just like they are the big winners of the internet, right? Google is worth more than all the infrastructure guys on the internet put together. The same thing is going to happen here. We're going to have winners that are bigger than anything, bigger than Apple, bigger than Google, bigger than Microsoft. That's how big this is. But we don't have the killer app. Does anyone here has a killer app that is using every day on the blockchain? Netscape was a killer app. The first time I used the Netscape browser, I knew that everything else was dead. I didn't have to use it twice. The first time I used it, it was like, okay, game over. We got to turn left. We got to go over here. Did anyone have that experience yet with any blockchain or with any dApp? So we haven't had that killer moment yet. We haven't had a killer app that makes it obvious for everybody that how we're going to win going forward. Back to the fishies. So think of these fishies, right? The fishies that are eating up the world, eating up the software, the open source, decentralization, as Pac-Man. Anyone here played Pac-Man when they were kids? Or yesterday? Pac-Man is always hungry. Does Pac-Man ever get tired? Does Pac-Man ever stop? That's what crypto is. Crypto is like Pac-Man. It's just going to keep eating all the assets, classes. I should have a slide here. I don't have it, but that compares the dollars to crypto. If you compare the dollar to Bitcoin, the dollar lost 99.99% of its value over the last 10 years. It's not that Bitcoin appreciated a lot. It's that the dollar devalued against the Bitcoin. That's how you have to think about it. Because you keep printing more and more of that, what do you think is going to happen? Anyone thinks that the governments are going to stop printing the money? They're printing it during good times. So you can imagine what they're going to do when the bad times come. So all of your assets, almost everyone here, most of your assets are in fiat currencies. Yet your government keeps printing trillions of dollars again and again and again, and you think nothing's going to happen because nothing happened in 700 years. The black swan moment, the moment in which everybody tries to exit from the fiat world to the crypto world, the minute that happens, if everybody here try to get through that door over there, what's going to happen? How many people are going to die? That's what's going to happen. It's coming. Now it's a great time. The party is great. Everybody's making money, so you think it's never going to happen. But it's going to happen. And all the real estate in the world and all the money in the world is going to move into something else because it cannot stay in fiat. So that's several $100 trillion that has to move from fiat to crypto. So when people here ask me, Alex, do you think it's late? Should I is it too late to the party? I'm like, too late. We haven't even started yet. We don't even know what time the party is. Anyone knows who the guy in the middle is? Splinter. No, not Splinter. Try again. No, it's Igor. It's not Splinter. No, this is Satoshi Nakamoto. Yes. Look who's he holding. Whose hand is he holding? So, Bitcoin showed us the way. Bitcoin was the first time, just FYI, the Satoshi Nakamoto did not invent the blockchain. He did not invent cryptography. He did not invent any of those things, right? All those things existed. Just like Apple did not invent the smartphone. Did Apple make the screen? How about the memory inside the phone? No? How about the jack? No? How about anything in the phone? They just put it together. Same thing with Satoshi Nakamoto. He put everything together in a way that gave everybody the right incentive, and then a magic happened. A system was created, and then everybody came and said, brilliant idea, let's copy it. You know, it's so good, we got to create another one. Let's get, oh, another one. I'm going to make my own. So now we have all these other systems, and we're all saying, okay, Satoshi, thank you very much. We'll take it from here, right? But it's not about how many of them we have. It's about how many people are using it. The fight between centralization and decentralization is about the community. The decentralization is saying, we're going to steal all of your users. And centralization is saying, oh, you can try. We're making all the money. We're just going to throw a little bit of whatever, 2% cash back or some other little bullshit thing, and they'll stay with us. Try to take them away from Google or YouTube or from Facebook or from Twitter. They spend hours on that computer like this. They're not going to do anything else. You may have great dreams. They're not going to come and do anything with you. So we are stuck in that early adoption phase. Does anyone know? Anyone familiar with this adoption hype curve? It's a very, very famous formula that the guys in Silicon Valley use for 50 years now to find the best companies. Figure out which companies are the ones that are moving from the early adoption phase to the mass adoption. They all want to invest in those companies who are just ready to go from early to mass, because that's where all the money is made. So we had the Bitcoin step, we had the Ethereum step, but now we have a chasm. We're going to fall into this hole right here. If we don't bring enough people, we're just going to fall in the hole. And all the pyramid guys are going to be laughing at us. Because we created 200 different blockchains, and we had a big party, and we raised ICOs, but nothing came out of it. Not a single killer app. So what we're saying is we need 100 million people to join us, at least, and not tourists. None of those speculated tourists to come and go. Or the anarchists who are just ruining the party for everybody. Right? Where are we going to find them? Where are these 100 people going to come from? So we think, Celsius thinks, it's all about borrowing and lending. I know it sounds boring, and it sounds like, oh my God, seriously? Borrowing and lending? So boring. But that is something that everyone on the planet needs. 7.5 billion people need borrowing and they need lending. 7.5 people. I have 6 kids at home. Okay? They have no idea what saving is. They don't understand the concept that your money can make money. They all think you have to work for the money. I'm like, no, the money has to work for you. So the rich people know. The rich people know very well how to make the money work for them. Right? Did you ever see a rich guy really work hard besides me? So let me brag a little bit. 7 startups. I raised $1 billion, had $3 billion in exits. I built 7 pyramids, made a lot of money for my investors, also for myself. 2 of my companies are the top 10 exits in New York for the last 20 years. 1 billion people use one company, and a few 100 million people are using other companies. I invested in over 200 companies. You want to look them up? You want to see what I invest in? It's all available on my website. Mashinsky.com, my last name. You can go and see every one of those companies, and I explain why, and I explain to you all the things I missed. I missed investing. I'm famous for 2 things. 1, inventing VoIP, and 2, sitting with Sergey Brin when he was still in Stanford and saying, who needs another search engine? Anyone feel bad about missing few investments? Come talk to me. He wanted $100,000 for 10%. I was like, it's a bad idea. We have Alta Vista. That looks nice. So when you want to invest in a project, or when you want to join a project, or when you're analyzing a project, the team is the most important thing. Who's on that team? What have they done before? What are the chances they're going to do it again? Because good people who try to do great things actually are very, very rare. And when there's a team of them, that never happens. That's like once, like the PayPal Mafia. Do you guys know about the PayPal Mafia? Everybody used to work for PayPal, right? Almost everybody there got out and created another amazing company, or 2 or 10, including Elon Musk, right? And so on. So when you see a group of great people, that is something special. That's the first and most important thing, right? In our world, in the crypto world, the token has to have economics. There has to be an engine that makes all the wheels turn around. If you take out the token or the coin and all the wheels continue turning, then what does that mean? Is that a good project or a bad project? It's a bad project. It has nothing to do with crypto. So people just sprinkle crypto or blockchain on there like you use salt on your salad. And they say, oh, you see, this is a crypto salad. Usually I charge $10 for the salad, but this crypto salad is 1,000 ETH. All right? That's what's happening right now. And people run around like crazy and send you an email and say, you have 5 minutes to buy my salad for 1,000 ETH, otherwise you'll never get access to it again. Power to the people. Power to the people. P2P is not peer-to-peer. It's power to the people. So we've heard this before, yeah, you know. But it's now. This is the opportunity. I was born in communism. I grew up in socialism. I live in capitalism. I tried all 3 systems. And none of them is perfect, I can tell you. They all have their problems. Waking up and working around the clock to make a few dollars so you could live in New York City, that is not the dream of most people. I know everybody thinks, oh, if I could just live in New York and have a fancy apartment. Yeah, you'd be working 28 hours every day to pay for the rent. You know? Or you can go to communism, right? Where it doesn't matter if you work hard or not hard, you get exactly the same salad that doesn't have anything in it. So we need a new system. The whole economic system, which is based on this pyramid that we talked about before, is being replaced by a circle. That's why our logo is a circle. In the circle, the value is measured by what did you contribute to the community. Did you put more than you took out? Because if you put more and the community values that, you can benefit from that. They will reward you with tokens or coins or anything else. And all the mechanisms, the best mechanisms I've seen in this area, all have to do with that. They're all about the reward and the contribution, the size of the community, and what you're trying to do or fix. So at least one technical slide I try to plug in. This is what we do, and this is how we do it. So for the next hour, I'm going to explain to you every line here. No, just kidding. So today, there's about $500 billion worth of crypto. It earns 0 in interest. That's a huge opportunity. Tomorrow, there's going to be $5 trillion worth of crypto. And I'm predicting that, I think I said publicly, 2020, Bitcoin is at $45,000. Ether is higher than that, higher than $45,000. Why? Because the killer app is going to come on top of the Ethereum platform. 9 out of 10 projects, good projects at least, are Ethereum-based. So the chance that they will win is 9 out of 10. So McKinsey did a 10-year study to try to find what is the real reason that the most successful companies are the most successful companies. And, you know, we thought it was management or marketing or all that stuff. No, they said it's all about timing. Timing, 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 and then another 5 timing. So it's all about timing, and now is the time. I'm telling you, right now is the time. So 3 things to remember. 1, VoIP to MoIP. That's easy, right? Use voice over IP every day. Just think money, money, money over IP, money over IP. What is the opportunity there? What can I fix? What can I advance? What can I replace from the existing world with a new system? Not injecting blockchain into the old system and making it run a little bit faster. That's not what this is about. It's about reinventing the whole concept. E equals MC squared, right? We had a few guys here, I think, who figured it out on this side of the room, right? Ethereum or any other coin equals the membership times the credit that that community can generate. And power to the people. Let's talk about people. Celsius is the only company in crypto that is, any ideas? Friendly. That's good. I never heard that before. Has more women than men. 35 people, more than half women. Shocking. What a new idea. We did an ICO, 15,000 people registered from all over the world. What do you think was the percentage of men versus women? 95% men. 95% men. So you want a revolution and half of the population in the world is not part of it? How well are you going to do? That's where we are right now. We're like celebrating with our computer games, and the women are like somewhere else saying, these idiots, they're never going to come out of the basement and do anything with us. We're leaving. We're going to create our own revolution. So I'll pause here. I want to do a little bit of Q&A. If anyone has a question, raise your hand. And I think we have some coins for people, right? Yes, can you go get the coins? All right. You get a Celsius coin, a physical coin from Banco de Pachi. You can exchange it for a gold coin. No, just kidding. But go ahead. Questions? Go ahead. So the question is why, if I did 7 startups, I raised $1 billion, why was it so hard to raise 50 million from a bunch of guys all over the world? It's a very good question. So every one of my companies, my 7 companies, even number 7, I had to go and pitch 200 times to different VCs. No, no, no. Don't even come here ever again. No, no, no. Who are you? Who allowed you in the building? No, no, no. Until you get one yes. And that one guy gives you a check and says, you better not screw this up. Actually, in the nose, they will also, you're too old. We need a young guy who's never done anything before. So we decided with Celsius not to take money from any VC, not to take money from any big investor. If you're trying to build a community, then build a community. By definition, go and get as many people as possible. Because the minute you got the money, you're going to have to build a community. So just build a community. Right? So that is a much harder job than going and saying, oh, I'm building a new router. It's going to run 50% faster than Cisco. Give me $100 million and I'm going to make it work. Right? So most people are not trying to build a community. Most projects, when you read them, they're trying to solve this technical problem or that technical problem, whatever. My view is that those projects will fail because crypto decentralization is all about the community. The size of your project, the success of your project, the price of your token or coin is all about how many members you have in the community. Next question. Anyone else? Wow, I answered all the questions in my presentation. Wow. 2 minutes left. Who's the lucky guy? Right there. Go ahead. No microphone. Go. Yes. Big banks are going into crypto. I'm yet to meet one. Who are you talking about? Give me a name. Goldman Sachs is trading crypto. They're not getting into crypto. Goldman Sachs say, look, there's an idiot here who wants to sell for 10% less than the idiot here who wants to buy. We'll just get in the middle and take it. It's a contradiction. Usually they make much more money, but they're willing to just take a little bit of money from all the idiots who are don't know that there's another exchange at a different price and all that stuff. No banks. I'm yet to meet a bank that sits with me, shakes hand, and says, we love crypto. We know you guys are going to rip our heart out at one point, but for now, let's just all be friends. This is war. This is war. When JP Morgan, Citibank, and Bank of America stole Ethereum, you know, JP Morgan copied 100% of the source code of Ethereum and started a project to create a blockchain for the banks. Do you know, did anyone know that? Raise your hand if you knew that. And at the same time, they went and they said, everyone who has a credit card, everyone who has a Visa or MasterCard from us, from one of those three banks, you can no longer buy crypto with that card, which should be illegal. Like, the bank should not be allowed to tell you what to use or what not to use. So that is like, the analogy is that Russia would go to Paris, steal the Mona Lisa, and then throw an atomic bomb on Paris. Did anyone here get mad? Did anyone here say, fuck you? We're not going to let this happen? Anyone? Anyone in the room? Well, you didn't know it happened, so how would you even do anything about it? So in Korea, I was in Korea 2 months ago, right before we closed our ICO. I was presenting there at a meetup, and on TV, the Minister of Finance get up and says, all this stuff is illegal, we're going to shut it down, forget about it. All this crypto stuff is gone. The next morning, 200,000 people were demonstrating in front of the parliament. And the minister and all the other guys came out and said, no, 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 you know, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Why? 25% of the Korean population is crypto. The highest concentration of women in the world that hold crypto. That's what you need. You don't bring that 100 million people, you're going to have atomic bombs thrown on you every day. And all of your coins are going to go down to zero. This is war. Yeah, you can clap for that. That deserves some clapping. Yeah, are we a security or utility? In Antarctica, we're a utility, and everywhere else it looks like we're a security. I have no idea, believe me. There is no law firm that can tell you if you're utility or security, because the laws change every minute, and where you're flying over, you know, oh, you flew over Gibraltar, you're a utility. Oh, you landed in, where did you land? In Germany? Nope, security. Take him to jail. So let me explain it differently. So the countries that already lost the war about being the money, basically the reserve currency of the world, right? We used to, the pound before World War II was the reserve currency of the world. England lost that battle to the United States. The dollar became the reserve currency. Japan lost that battle to China. So who's against crypto? China, number one, right? US, pretty much, right? You can't do anything. And who is for crypto? When China shut down crypto, Japan issued 12 new licenses the next day. You think it's a coincidence? Anyone here thinks it's a coincidence? No. The Prime Minister of Japan said that 0.5% of GDP in the last quarter came from the crypto community. Do you know when the last time they had positive GDP? 20 years ago. So the countries that understand this are for it, UK, Japan, Singapore, and so on. And the countries who have the reserve currency don't want it. So the battle has just started. The battle, this war, has just started. 7.5 billion people don't even know what we're talking about. I think we're out of time, or we have one more? Uno más?
Yeah.
Еще один, давай.
Oh, hello.
How do you find women? I know, listen, we can have a whole session about that.
I can answer that question.
So at 4 o'clock today, we're going to have a session, how do you find women? Now, look, women work with the heart. They don't work with the brain, right? women actually want to solve the world's problem. They don't want to make more money. You don't have to sell everything I was talking about for the last 2 hours. You don't have to convince anyone. You just show people what you're doing, and women go first. Okay, I'm in. And the guy's like, but how are you going to make money at it? So, you know, it's not that, you know, I convert. I meet people all the time. My first question is, do you have a wallet? Do you already have coins in it? If the person says no, I just keep walking. Because if you're not part of the community, if you're not actively contributing by being part of this, then what are you doing? And women are more reserved than that. Women are saying, no, I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to check. I have kids at home. I'm not going to take unmeasured risk. While the guys are already trading 17 currencies on 25 exchanges. Right? So we need to bring women in, because if we want this to be a successful revolution, they have to show us the way. And the most important finishing line is that Satoshi Nakamoto is a female. All right, thank you very much. We have a booth out here. We'd love to come and see you, and come meet us in New York.
Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you. Thank you.